Okay, and somehow, the New Orleans Necrozmas have made it to playoffs of PWC Season 11 Wi-Fi Division. I don't know how that happened because I totally disappeared halfway through the season just for like some personal issues. I apologize for that. But we made it to playoffs, and our opponent for round 1 is gonna be the Toronto Torterras, Mike Haley. And by the way, I have been really enjoying this Sun like hyper offense team that I drafted. I didn't ever want to make any changes to it. I haven't brought Morpeko yet, which is kind of sad. I kind of wanted to see it do something. Like a choice band parting shot set could be really fun. But it's just not like that fast, so I'm not really sure how much it can get done. Anyways, so looking at this matchup, I see a threat in Iron Valiant. I see a threat in Latias, which could be a Choice Scarf, Revenge Killer. Both of those would outspeed my Walking Wake, even with booster speed. So I do have a solution to that on my team. I also see the Low Kicks, which, even though I do have Cobalion and Weezing, which are both double resists, I find it kind of difficult to switch into this Low Kicks. Like, it's Tinted Lens, it's just good at what it does. So I'm running a Rocky Helmet Weezing just to kind of punish those pivots. Hoopa could be scary, Vikavolt could agility, and that could be scary. The Vileplume I'm also a little bit worried about because it's generally pretty bulky. It has really high special attack, but also I'm giving it a free speed boost with my Sun, so I'm watching out for that as well. I don't have great answers to HEATran on my team. Like, I've got Heracross, I've got Cobalion, those are both decent. But on my team that I brought, I didn't bring anything specifically to counter HEATran because I have the Walking Wake, but you have the Ogerpon with the Water Absorb, so it's hard to safely attack the HEATran, but I did figure out my way around it. So the main thing I see here in Team Preview is that there is no Low Kicks, and that's pretty much what I brought Weezing for specifically, like just Rocky Helmet Weezing just to kind of punish those switches. I double resist Bug, and I also double resist Dark, I think. Is that? No. I double resist Bug, and then I resist Dark, but Tinted Lens, whatever. Okay. So that's why I brought Weezing, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and lead it, because I don't see the Low Kicks. So it's kind of the most expendable Pokemon on my team. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into the battle. I definitely think I could have made a couple of different draft choices. I feel like there's some coverage that I'm missing. I think some switch-ins. Sometimes I feel like I have no switch-ins. Like to the Low Kicks, I do have like defensive Mons, but that thing just first impressions everything and kills everything, and it's kind of scary, so he's going to lead with the Ogerpon Wellspring. I'm going to go ahead and lead with my Weezing, like I said. Now, I don't have much of a play here besides Toxic. I have Strange Steam. Like, I can't do anything except Toxic, even though I know that HEATran is coming in here. But now I know that you're going to go for the Stealth Rocks. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get my Sun set up. Now, I am risking getting trapped here by Magma Storm. And that would kind of be terrible if I got trapped and just my Sunsetter was removed that quickly. But I was 99% sure that I would see Stealth Rocks here, so I felt like it was pretty safe. I wanted to get the Sun set up before the rocks were on the field. So he's going to switch here, probably expecting an Earth Power from me into the Dawn Fan. I'm going to double switch, but unfortunately I kind of got the wrong prediction, so I am going to switch to my Raging Bolt, which is pretty unfortunate. Obviously, I can do good damage to this thing. I didn't run Solar Beam, which I was considering, but I felt like Weather Ball was better coverage into, like, the Vikavolt. So I don't have anything. I can... It's got Sturdy. I can't stay in here and take the Earthquake. So I am forced to switch back to my Weezing, which is, of course, the Levitate set. Meaning I just switch for free. And I can go ahead and try to defog these rocks away. I do pretty much expect HEATran to come in. Like, I can't touch HEATran at all. So that's what I expect. I am just going to defog those away, though, so he can set them back up if that's what he wants to do. And then I'm going to switch to my Walking Wake this time, because I'm like, okay, well, Raging Bolt didn't really work out that well last time. I'd rather go ahead and apply some pressure, kind of force you to switch defensively. So he's going to set up the rocks again, obviously, and I'm going to reveal my Walking Wake set. I think it's a little bit premature to reveal this, to be honest, because the Ogerpon, with the Life Orb, it honestly takes, like, it has a chance to take 2 Dragon Pulses, because I'm not running Draco Meteor. But I do go for Agility, double my speed. The reason I'm running Agility Booster Special Attack is because Iron Valiant and a Choice Scarf Latias could both, like, revenge kill Walking Wake, even with booster speed, so... I'm a switch to Weezing. I'm afraid of a Play Rough, but he just goes for a Power Whip instead, which is fine by me. He takes Rocky Helmet Chip, which is pretty good, and he's obviously just going to go right back to that HEATran. Now, at this point, I've decided that it's kind of time. We've, like, sized each other up, and I'm deciding it's time to try and set myself up to get some damage going. And since there is no low kicks, this Weezing is not really going to accomplish that much, besides just keeping the Stealth Rocks off the field. So, through several 50-50 reads that I made correctly, I'm basically able to get this HEATran down to below 50% and also keep the rocks off the field, which is so ideal. And it's a defensive HEATran, so he's not really doing that much damage with Magma Storm. And then at the end, the last turn, I can see that I have 41 HP remaining exactly, which is how much the Magma Storm does. So I just defog again, there's no better play for me to make. And then Weezing dies to Magma Storm, which gives me a free switch in with no rocks on the field. So that just worked out perfectly. And I'm going to go to my Ceruledge because I know that it's like a defensive HEATran set, so I know I can outspeed even though I'm not Jolly, I'm not max speed. I just get to go for the close combat and pick up that KO right there. So we're 1 for 1 at this point. Now I am at -1 defenses. He's going to bring in the Vileplume, which I was actually a little bit surprised by. I'm like, okay, well, I know you're going to go for a defensive Terra. I don't really want to switch Lilligant in. Obviously, I think he's going to Sleep Powder, but what if you just go for, like, Sludge Bomb or Moonblast? That would do a shit ton of damage to my Lilligant, which I don't want to take. So I go to Raging Bolt, and unfortunately, I will get put to sleep after he goes for the Terra Fairy. And that's, like, worst case scenario. I know I can take a Moonblast, but I didn't get to take the mandatory sleep turn, so I'm gonna stay in on this turn and try to Calm Mind, just because I want to burn off the mandatory sleep turn, just in case, like, at the end of the game, if I am in a pickle and I need, like, the Hail Mary, try and wake up Thunderclap type thing. So I do stay in and get the sleep turn burned off. But I am going to switch out my Raging Bolt because I know that you cannot put anything else to sleep while it's still alive. And I also have specially defensive Torkoal. I almost always run Spadef Torkoal just because it's like 140 base defense. And I feel like most of the attacks that I want to switch in on are special anyways, so yeah, we don't take very much from that Moonblast. I know that I can take a Sludge Bomb. It doesn't really matter that I get poisoned, but I know that I can take the hit and get up my own Stealth Rocks. And of course, my Sun is set up. He is doubled in speed at the moment, which is a little bit awkward, but it's kind of fine. So I'm going to switch out my Torkoal to Ceruledge, who resists, I believe, all of the moves this thing could use. And I'm kind of risking a poison here. Like, Ceruledge is not very bulky, so I'm kind of risking getting poisoned here and that affecting my longevity, but I just get to go for the Sun-boosted Bitterblade, which does so much fucking damage. And almost down to, like, almost just a one-hit KO. Heals me back almost to full and puts it in range of Shadow Sneak, which is very, very nice. And thankfully, because I did get that healing, I'm able to take a hit when something else comes in. There's no Stealth Rocks on the field. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for me. He is going to bring in the Ogerpon, and I have a Colbur Berry, so I know that I can take Knockoff. The sun is up, so I know I can take Ivy Cudgel as long as you don't crit. So I am going to play a little bit greedy here and go for a Swords Dance. So at the end of this turn, basically, I'm at +2 speed and +2 attack, and I have the Sun Boost on my Bitter Blade. So it's looking very, very good. I literally just get to one-hit KO this Ogerpon and heal back up to about 50%, which is amazing. It looks like we might have a little bit of a Ceruledge sweep coming. So Ogerpon's going to go down. The next thing he brings in is Latias, which I was a little bit surprised by. I was kind of expecting Donphan, but I guess he needs the sun to run out before Donphan can take my hit. I just go for the Bitter Blade because I know Ceruledge has a pretty high special defense stat naturally, and so I'm like, as long as you're not like Specs Draco, I'm pretty sure I can take a hit from full HP. So I do just Bitter Blade, which almost fucking kills the Latias. And yeah, there's no reason to Shadow Sneak there, because why not get the healing, you know? And so it's just Dragon Pulse, and we take that very easily. But the sun is going to run out on this turn, I believe, right? Or the last turn. So now he can bring in the Donphan, and now he can take my hit. And I'm obviously gonna just go for the Bitter Blade, because I don't want to switch into Earthquake. But I'm at -1, so it's gonna obviously just kill me from full HP. And so Ceruledge got 4 KOs in this game. It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect that to pop off like that, but I really like Ceruledge. I think it's a very cool design. Weak Armor is a very powerful ability on it. So now I just bring in my Torkoal. The game is pretty much over at this point. I just bring in my Torkoal so I can set the sun back up. I do go for Lava Plume, expecting you to switch, because if you just, like, Earthquake my Torkoal, then I can go to Walking Wake, and I can Agility, and then I just win the game from that point. But I just click Lava Plume, because you are kind of forced to switch in that scenario, and Iron Valiant takes so much damage. Lilligant is going to outspeed everything because of the sun, so I just needed that first bit of damage to make sure I can kill it. He will go for a Moonblast. It kind of looks like a Specs set because I didn't see booster speed, which I was surprised by. That's the reason I went Agility on Walking Wake. But it didn't end up mattering. Lilligant is just going to be able to Weather Ball these last 2 Pokemon. I don't even have any Grass Stab because it didn't look that useful. And the crazy thing is, I should have Terra Fired here because I don't know if you could like crit Ice Shard or something. Like, I do have Walking Wake, so it doesn't really matter, but I thought about that after the fact. I was like, what if you crit Ice Shard and I just lost my Lilligant like that? But that's going to be the game. That's the first week of playoffs for the Wi-Fi division. This one's a little bit different. Like I said, I've been going through it, so, you know, I didn't get to, like, set up my recording like I usually do. So I'm doing some post-commentary, and I'm sorry about that, but yeah, I guess I'll see you next week. It was a good game to Toronto Torterras. Next is Pup for next week.